athletes, coaches, and the line judge all out and ready for presentation here. It's Denmark versus Mexico for gold here on Compound Saturday. So lining up for the Danes, the world number 9, Tanja Gellentin, formerly Tanja Jensen. And she teams up with the world number 14, Stefan Hansen, both 25 years old. Up against Mexico, Andrea Piquera, 20 years old, lining up with Antonio Hidalgo. A brilliant prospect for this mixed team. Nikki, any thoughts on which way this could swing?
I mean, on paper here, Mexico are the highest ranked of these. They're second coming in, and Denmark were fifth, but the Danish are a really strong team. You know, Stefan Hansen, he might be world number 14 at the moment, but he has been an amazing archer over the years, and Tanja, who we're going to see later in the final. So, I don't know, I think I'd say Denmark have got the edge, even though they're lower ranked.
Interesting call. So Gellentin and Hansen up against Piquera and Hidalgo. Hidalgo will shoot first for the Mexicans. Shot of 14.08 in the ranking round. A bye through the first round, beating France in the quarterfinals by 2 points, and it was a 7-point win over the Netherlands in the semi-finals to bring them to this gold medal match. Up steps Antonio Hidalgo.
Fuerte en línea, fuerte.
They're calling to stay strong. Shoots a 9 to get the Mexicans underway. Hands over to number 22, Andrea Piquera. And she goes straight into the 10. So get our first sight of the Danes. Denmark shot a 14.03 in the ranking round. A bye through round 1 was followed by victories over Colombia in the quarterfinals and Guatemala in the semis. World number 9, Tanja Gellentin, to get us underway.
She didn't look that happy with that shot, but straight in the middle. I mean, the other factor here, the Mexicans have both already shot on this stadium. Just now we've seen them in the team rounds, and these two guys and Denmark are fresh on. So, you know, that might be a little bit, I was going to say, you know, not as prepared, but they've both gone and shot 10s in the first arrow.
But it's an interesting point, isn't it? Because having not shot for 18 months in a competitive environment, that's important, because a lot of these archers will still have been training, but just don't have the added pressure of competition. Is there a bit of mental fatigue being seen out on this first competition after such a long period of time?
Yeah, I think there definitely is, and we've had archers mentioning that through the rounds. You know, they've got tired more quickly. You just can't replicate the pressure of competition. There's so much you can do, but that is a really difficult aspect.
Beautiful second 2 arrows from Mexico, finishing with 39. But the Danes haven't missed the middle of the target, albeit very early in this gold medal match.
Yep. Dødvind. 15.
Interesting, he's shooting a 4-finger release aid with only 3 fingers on it.
10. 9.
You can see the extra hook there for the 4th finger to sit on, and he chooses not to, you know.
Well, that's quite that is quite an interesting point. We're getting down into the sort of nuts and bolts of things. Why on earth would he do that? Why not have a release aid with just the 3 fingers?
You can get 3-finger ones. Yeah, obviously it's just something he's comfortable with. It might be the spacing, I don't know, but you know, it's just an observation really. But same there as well. Just not using the 4th finger on the actual release aid, choosing to leave it, you know, away from it. But there's so many different variations. I mean, you can see the variation of how upright the hand is on the face, very upright there from Tanja, and some of the others are a bit more sort of out to the side. So there's always variation.
Yeah, and even with the, we're just talking specifically about the release, but you could see then from Jensen there was perhaps even a more obvious expansion at the end of the shot as well that you don't always see from, well, you don't see from every archer.
Yeah, she has a very explosive shot, and you don't normally see that in compound. It's usually a bit more controlled than that, but again we'll see more of that tomorrow with the recurves because their stabilizers push the bow forward as the arrow leaves. But it is a bit more unusual in a compounder, yeah.
Well, great shooting so far. 39 plays 40, subject to confirmation from the target judge, but a brilliant start, setting up for what has the potential to be a great final in this mixed team event on Compound Saturday. Trailing by a single point, Antonio Hidalgo is ready to step up the line for the start of end number 2.
Bien firme. Todo en línea. Venga, Maya. Buena forma. Enfoque a la X. Bien firme el disparo. Enfoque en la X.
So it's kind of interesting because you could actually see her little finger move during the shot, and for me as a coach, I would just be wanting to stick that finger somewhere solid so it didn't move. But
well, then you say as a coach, you would actually try and move it onto the release.
I think given that she kind of you could see a difference in tension as she was at full draw. So I mean, people shoot successfully, obviously with 3 or 4 fingers, but I'm always looking to reduce movement to keep things as similar, the same. We're trying to repeat the same action again and again. Tell straight away. Yep, a similar reaction, isn't it, with Mike Schlosser, and positivity. As soon as it's gone, he knows it's straight in there.
They need 10s here. No, she nearly dropped another point to what looks like a formidable Danish team in formidable form.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Time running out.
3.
Well, when the pressure's on.
God tid, gør skuddet helt færdigt.
Now, can the Danes apply more pressure here? Galantine just looking to wait for what looked like a couple of gusts of wind there, potentially.
Yeah, again, like in a team round, I don't think you'd be waiting, and it just disrupt your shot. You've really just got to, make the best of you can of the conditions that are there. So she might have just aimed off slightly. Great shooting.
They are in incredible form. Haven't dropped a single point through the first half of the compound mixed team gold medal match. Tanya Galantine and Stefan Hansen kept a perfect score on 80 versus Andrea Becerra and Antonio Hidalgo on 77. Still not a bad score, but trailing Denmark by 3. So I keep wanting to say Tanya Jensen, but she's obviously got married to a gentleman with the surname Galantine. Do we know any more about that?
Well, I believe it happened in October of 2020. So yeah, I mean, what a pairing who've both, featured here in the finals.
Yeah, they'll both be very happy with their performance in Guatemala City. Now, come on, Nikki, you mentioned it earlier on. Is there some kind of archery reference to the date they've chosen for their wedding?
The 10th month I thought was a nice round number. So yeah, the 20th of the 10th, 2020. So some nice round numbers.
They've done that deliberately. So congratulations to them, and congratulations to Denmark so far, leading by 3 points at the halfway stage of this compound mixed team gold medal match. What can Hidalgo and Pichero do? Mexico will shoot first in end number 3.
Firme enfrente. Todo en línea.
So here we go for the third end. Hidalgo. Looks strong. Called a 10 in venue.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Solid on the line. If it's on the line, it's going to be the highest score.
Vamos a apuntarle X a la izquierda, Firme. Buen trabajo, disparo. Firme. X.
Well, that's exactly what they needed to do. Put down a maximum score to put some pressure on the Danish opponents.
Tanya just tweaking her peep sight there, so it might not be coming up straight. She just rotated it before she came up to full draw. Make sure she can see right through it into her scope.
Yep.
Yes.
Is that an unusual thing to have to do at that moment in time?
It's not ideal. It can happen, obviously. The peep, we've got twists in the string, so sometimes that can rotate the peep. But we want to have it centered so it lines up perfectly with the scope that you can see at the front of the bow.
Yes.
It's remaining perfect, the Danes. And then when you talk about the peep, so you're talking about that's on the back string of the bow, and they actually line that up with the...
Yeah, with the sight at the front, so it's like a little bit of plastic you can see in the string, and they look through a little hole in there and line up with that scope at the front. Much more like a gun. You've got a proper back sight.
Mexicans keeping the pressure here up on Denmark. They're on for their first perfect 40.
Firme. Espérala. Apunto bien. Apunto al centro.
8, 7, 6, 5.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And they have indeed got their first perfect 40, 117. A bit of pressure on Tanya Gelantine, making another adjustment to her peep sight again. As she, before she took the draw.
Yeah, so if it's slightly off, she'll just have to keep on tweaking it just before she comes up each time. It'll just keep going back to that position, which is just offset at the moment. Not ideal, not what you want to do, but she should be able to see enough to make good shots.
15. 10, 9. Yep.
Yes.
They've stayed perfect here. 120 to the Danes. Haven't dropped a single point, and they don't look close to doing so. Will that peep sight play a part in this? I mean, first off, is there time for her to make any adjustments now to fix that problem?
No, not at the moment. She needs to put that in a bow press and tweak one of the fibres of the strings over. So she can't do that right now. So just kind of tweaking it each time, just making sure she rotates it before she comes up. That will give her enough so she can see through it just fine. And they're just checking their arrows as well as they come back each end. So these guys are shooting so close together, they can damage their nocks in the target. So as the arrows come back round, it's important to check them over, make sure there's no cracks in them. You never want to shoot a nock with a crack in it. It could be an issue. So, you know, those arrows come back, just check they're all okay, in good condition before they can be shot again.
We'll talk about the Mexicans as well here, because they haven't done badly at all. A 39, a 38 and a 40 is great shooting from them, but when the other team are just hitting 10, anything you drop is a problem.
Yeah, they've really shot well. You know, they've come back strong that last end, so they can keep the pressure on now. They're shooting first, so keep on shooting 10s. You never know, but I mean, the Danish are in good form, so it would take a little bit to make that difference. But you, as I say, you've just always got to keep the pressure on. It's not over till it's over.
Yeah, that's it. Well, Antonio Hidalgo ready to get the fourth and final end underway. Mexico trailing Denmark by 3 points.
Yes.
Bien trabajado. Háblale, Tony, háblale.
Enfoque en la X. Estamos trabajando muy bien. Buena forma. Enfoque en la X. Buen enfoque. Apunte.
Yes.
Really nice and solid. Exactly what they needed in that opening end there.
Pressure moves over. score. Slightly longer hold. So has that equipment issue caused a problem
Stack score.
for Tanya Galantine?
That was unexpected too. He looked solid in that until he released, and he immediately knew there was something not quite right. But
Well, we're only halfway through the final end here, and Mexico were trailing by 3. They've already caught 2 of them back up. 10's required here. There's one of them. Ooh. So all of a sudden, the match has come alive in the 4th and final end here. Can Andrea Pichera get another 10? She's in the 9s. Okay, that's close. That's very close. But the pressure is still on, and that 9's been marked for a measure.
yeah,
So 156, the finishing
That's good
score.
heel
Could get
färdig.
marked up to a 157. Denmark potentially on
Yep,
for a
yep.
158. That's back in the 10, so that's a 148.
Towards
A
you,
10 to confirm the win,
Name on
whatever
name.
happens to the last arrow from Mexico.
Yep.
And a yup from Stefan Hansen after 2 9s, their first 2 9s in the whole match for Tanya Galantine and Stefan Hansen in the 4th and final end. They finish with 2 10s and take the compound mixed team gold here in Guatemala City.
what a match! I mean, God, wasn't it tight at the end there? It really could have gone either way, but the Danish just held on. Really, really great shooting from them too this afternoon. So great to see.
Yeah, really, really brilliant performance, and they livened it up for everybody, made it a little bit more fun, just by shooting a couple of 9s just to make it a little tighter in the end. But good performance, solid shooting from Mexico as well. They were just up against a team on incredible form. There you go. Confirmation that Stefan Hansen, the world number 14, and his teammate, the world number 9, Tanya Galantine, taking the compound mixed team gold here at the first stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup Series in Guatemala. So strong right at the beginning. The 3 perfect scores on